In today's class, we will study about superposition principle. So let's see what the superposition principle says. Principle of superposition states that when a number of charges are interacting, the total force on a given charge is the vector sum of the forces exerted on it due to all other charges. The force between two charges is not affected by the presence of a third charge. Now let's see with the diagram what does it mean. So according to this principle, if there are a number of charges, say q1, q2, qn, and these charges are interacting with a particular charge, say q, which we are taking as the test charge, and remember test charges are always positive. So these charges q1, q2, qn will individually interact with q, and there will be a force due to each one of them, say force between q1 and q, q2 and q, qn and q, and so on. Now the total force on the charge q will be the vector sum of all these forces. Now since here let's see here, since q1 is positive and q is also positive, so both the charges are positive, that means there will be a force of repulsion. So the force which q1 exerts on q will be in this direction, that is F1. Now here q2 is also positive and q is also positive. Therefore the force which q2 that will exert on q will be in this direction, that is F2, and the force which qn exerts on q will be in this direction, Fn, and so on. So here we can see all the forces are repulsive forces. So the total sum of the forces on q will be the vectorial sum of all the forces. That means the total force F, vector F, will be equal to F1 plus F2 plus plus Fn. Now one very important point is that the force between two charges remain unaffected due to the presence of a third charge. This means that the force between q1 and q2 will always remain the same, and it will not be affected by any other charges present in the vicinity of charge q. So this is our principle of superposition. Next we will see one problem in regards to principle of superposition. So here we have a problem. Consider three charges q1, q2, q3, each equal to q at the vertices of an equilateral triangle of side L. What is the force on a charge capital Q with same sign as small q placed at the centroid of the triangle? Now here we have drawn a triangle, equilateral triangle, that means all the angles are equal. All the angles are 60 degree. So we have named the triangle as A, B and C, and we have placed all the charges in the corners of the triangle, that is Q1, Q2 and Q3. Now they are saying this triangle is of length L. All the sides are of length L, and one charge capital Q is placed at the centroid of the triangle. This is not the center of the triangle, this is the centroid of the triangle. Now this charge capital Q is same sign as the small charges Q. Okay, now let AO, so this is the centroid of the triangle. The centroid is marked as capital O, and charge capital Q is placed at the centroid. So let AO equal to BO equal to CO is equal to R. So we have taken it as R. Now the force on charge capital Q due to the charge q1, since these two charges are of same direction, that means there will be a repulsive force. Repulsive force means the force will be in this direction, that is F1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 capital Q small q1 by AO square. Why AO square? Because according to Coulomb's law, the force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square, where r is the distance between the two charges. In this case, the distance between charge q1 and capital Q is this one, that is AO. So AO square into AO cap. AO cap is the direction vector or the unit vector. Next, force on charge Q, capital Q, due to Q2. So this is Q2 and this is capital Q. Now again, both of these charges are same sign, so there will be a repulsive force. That means Q2 will exert a force on capital Q in this direction, that is F2 direction. So again, the magnitude of force F2 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 capital Q small q2 by BO square. BO means the distance between capital Q and Q2, that is BO, this distance, into BO cap. BO cap is the unit vector or the direction vector. Next, force on charge capital Q due to Q3. Now force on charge capital Q due to this charge. Now again both the charges are same, so it will experience a repulsive force, that is in this direction F3. Can you see it? F3, this direction. So again the magnitude of the force is F3 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 capital Q Q3 by CO square into CO cap. CO cap is the direction vector. Now, by principle of superposition, we know that all the charges exerted on this point or on this charge, all the forces exerted on this charge will be the sum of the vector sum of all the forces. So the vector sum F is equal to vector F1 plus vector F2 plus vector F3. So if we add up all the three charges F1, F2, F3, from here we can take 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q common. Now since here see, there are three charges Q1, Q2, Q3 each equal to Q. Now since all the charges are equal to Q, that is Q1, Q2 and Q3 are same, so we can take it as Q by 4 pi epsilon 0 R square. R square, since we have taken OA, OB, OC is equal to R, so we can put here R square, R square, R square. So here we are taking R square common. Now what we are left with is AO cap, BO cap and CO cap. Now each angle between unit vector AO cap, BO cap and CO cap is 120 degree. That means this is 120 degree, this is also 120 degree and this is also 120 degree. So they form a triangle of cycle vectors. Now when we studied vectors in class 11, we have seen that cyclic vectors, the sum of cyclic vectors is 0. Therefore AO cap plus BO cap plus CO cap is equal to 0. So we can see here, if we put 0 over here, we will see that the force becomes 0. So the total force on this charge capital Q is 0. That means this charge will not move in any direction. That is, the total force on capital Q is 0. Okay. Now next we will start with electric field. Next, see what is electric field. If we place a single charge, electric charge small q, in space, it will not experience any force. But if some other charges, say capital Q, is placed near it, it will experience as a force given by F is equal to capital Q, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, K, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, capital Q, small q by R square. Okay. Now imagine, suppose a magnet is kept somewhere. You are well acquainted with magnets and you know one magnet attract or repulse the other magnet of the same pole. Now suppose a small magnet is kept somewhere. Will it experience any force? No, because there is nothing in the vicinity of that magnet. Now what happens? Same in case of charge. When we place one charge, say we are placing a charge small q. Now this charge shields around itself something which is called the electric field. Now if we bring another charge in the vicinity of this charge small q, this capital Q charge will experience some force. This force is called the electric force, or what we are studying as the Coulomb's force. Now this charge which we are bringing from some other place is called the test charge, and you must always remember that test charge is always taken as positive. Unless and until it is mentioned in any problem that it is negative, we will always consider a test charge as positive charge. Now since this charge and this charge are same, so there will be a repulsive force, that is F, in this direction. So this is electric field. So let's revise once. If we place a single electric charge Q in space, it will not experience any force. But if some other charges, say capital Q, is placed near it, it will experience a force given by capital K, capital Q, small q by r square. Now let's see what does it definition of electric charge. It is defined as the space around a charge in which its influence can be felt by any other charged particle. So the equation of electric field capital E is equal to capital F by Q naught, where Q naught is the test charge. Quantitatively, electric field or electric field intensity capital E at a point is defined as the force experienced by a unit positive test charge placed at that point without disturbing the position of the source charge. So as I told you, the test charge, the force experienced by the test charge due to the source charge is called the electric field. Now electric field is a vector quantity. SI unit of electric field is Newton per Coulomb or volt per meter, and dimension is mLt to the power minus 3 a to the power minus 1. Now let's see electric field due to a point charge. How to derive the electric field? Now suppose there is a source charge and at a distance of r we have brought a test charge q0. So since the source charge is also positive and the test charge, as we know, is always positive unless and otherwise it's told. So there will be a repulsive force in this direction. This charge, source charge, will try to push this test charge in this direction. Okay, now the force on charge Q naught due to Q will be, according to Coulomb's law, it will be F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q0 by r square into r cap, where r cap is the unit vector or the direction vector. Now from the equation of electric field we know that E is equal to F by Q naught, where Q naught is the test charge. So we will use this equation as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. Since we are dividing this force by Q naught, so Q naught gets cancelled into r cap. Therefore magnitude of E, this part is the magnitude. Since electric field is a vector quantity, so this is the direction part and this is the magnitude part. So the magnitude of E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. From this equation we can see that electric field is indirectly proportional to 1 by r square, that is radius square. So this means that the more farther we go from the charge, the less the electric intensity of the electric field becomes lesser and lesser. This means that all the points on the spherical surface drawn around the point charge, the magnitude is same and does not depend on r. Such fields are called spherically symmetrical or radial fields. Thank you.